Winter storms in New England haven't just been keeping the mercury low, they've been drawing down Vermont's already low critical blood supply. What can you do to help? We're finding out today on Across the Fence. Hello, Vermont. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. There's no substitute for it. That's why blood donors are such heroes, and why the current lull in donations has the Red Cross and hospitals all over New England worried. This is where you come in. Joining me to make the case for blood donation are David Pugna and Dan Dowling. David is a local Red Cross volunteer who's become a blood donor ambassador. And Dan is the regional communications manager for the Red Cross of Northern New England. You may also recognize him from his 20 years on air here at WCAX and from previous appearances on Across the Fence, which have been many. So welcome to you both, David.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you here. This is your first time on Across the Fence, though, correct?
It is.
Okay,
but
all right.
I am a fan.
You are a fan. Love fans. All right, well, let's talk about what's been going on, because the last time you were here, we were talking about building up the blood supply with fall blood drives, getting ready for winter. What happened?
Well, we hit flu season. Unfortunately, we were doing pretty well heading into the fall, and then there was a nationwide outbreak of some of the worst flu that we had seen in years, and that made a 35% drawdown in our blood supply. So the supply that we were building up throughout the fall suddenly became depleted. Then we head into January and all this winter weather and some record cold, not just here in New England, but all across the country. And that resulted in about 800 blood drives across the United States being canceled, 20,000 units of blood that weren't collected. So now we're in this blood shortage, which is the first time we've had a blood shortage in about a year and a half, rallying people now to come donate blood to help make sure the hospitals have the blood on the shelves that they need.
It was interesting because you said 20,000 units not collected. So does that mean that you usually have like a target goal for how much you need to gather at any given moment in order to keep the blood supply at an appropriate level?
Sure, it's not just having the inventory, but making sure that the blood goes to where it needs to go. It's a tremendous amount of logistics that are involved. And so the Red Cross keeps careful track of not only how much blood, but what types of blood, platelets and things like that. Yep. And so we know that we have a supply, and that supply is not where it needs to be. And we want to make sure that, you know, hospitals can do the treatments and perform the surgeries that they need to.
Yeah, and so then the situation in Vermont and New England isn't unique, right? Because this is happening all over the country.
Sure.
Yeah, but what is happening? Is there anything different happening here too?
Well, fortunately, we haven't had as many cancellations. We had a big winter storm a couple of weeks ago that resulted in about 16 blood drives being canceled, about 414 units here in New England, northern New England, not collected, but the blood goes to where it needs to go. Yeah. And we've certainly seen bigger impacts across the United States. So where the blood goes, that's where we send it, and you know, we're trying to build that back now.
Well, blood drive cancellations, that means that you've had sort of a restful winter, I guess, David? You haven't been as active.
I still keep busy.
You still keep busy. All right. Well, I'm going to come to you, and I'm going to start asking you some questions in a moment. But I do want to know, like, how are hospitals, et cetera, how are they feeling the impact of these low blood supplies right now?
Sure. We're trying to avoid big impacts at these hospitals by making sure that we're getting more donors to show up these blood drives. But we do want to, it could become a situation where hospitals have to postpone elective surgeries. Maybe certain blood types aren't available as much as they need to be. So making sure that the inventory is high and that the blood goes to where it needs to go is crucial right now.
Yeah. You said certain blood types. Are there certain blood types that the supply is always a little bit lower?
Right now, we're especially focused on A negative, B negative, and O.
I am A negative. Okay.
There you go.
Really?
Why?
Why?
It's a rare blood type, A negative and B negative. So to make sure that the blood matches the patients when they're at the hospital. Okay. And then O is a universal blood type. So when someone comes in an emergency situation, and you don't know the type of blood, you can give them O, and that works out well. But all blood types are needed, and you don't need to know your blood type in order to donate at the Red Cross.
Okay, that's a good call. But then on the other hand, if you just heard that you have one of these rare blood types, like A negative, then that also might be a specific call to action saying, go ahead, this is the time, come and do a blood drive. Pretty cool. Okay.
And if you don't know your blood type, the Red Cross will tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, David, if you don't mind, what is your blood type?
I'm A positive.
You're A positive.
I'm one of the more common blood types.
Okay.
And I do whole blood donations when I do it.
Okay.
I'm
whole blood donations. Does that mean that you're
that
doing?
Is basically a needle in the arm, blood into a bag.
Okay.
There are several other blood products that the Red Cross collects and processes. But when you go to a blood drive, typically that is the bulk of the collection, is what's called a whole blood. So everything that's in there goes into the bag. They also do what's called Power Red, which allows them to collect twice the number of regular red blood cells. They get concentrated into a bag, and there's a very high demand for that blood product
Okay.
for trauma and surgery and things like that.
Okay, that's fascinating. I had never heard about this idea of like the what do you call it? Power
Red.
Power red.
Power red.
Yes, they used to call it double red cell, which is a little more descriptive. Power
Does
red.
that mean do they have to take more blood in order to be able to
No,
do that?
actually, with Power Red, you spend a little bit more time in there on the bed than you would for a whole blood donation. But instead of taking all of the fluids out of you, they take out the red blood cells and they put other products back in, the platelets, the plasma, and so on. So you actually come out, and they add some saline, so you come out better hydrated than when you went in. And
That's
it
really
uses a smaller
fascinating.
needle.
Oh my gosh, okay, well there you go. That was so much more than I had ever known about blood donation just in that one. See, this is why we have you here.
He's an expert, for
Yeah,
sure.
you are an expert. Well, and you started donating,
So-
I heard correct, when you were a UVM student?
Yeah, I'm closing in on 50 years as a blood donor.
That is incredible. And how many gallons of blood is that?
I just passed my 17th gallon.
That's
So I'm at
incredible.
137 donations or something like that.
What made you start donating?
As an undergrad student at UVM back in the 1970s, I worked for a program that provided services to the Medical Center Hospital of Vermont, now the UVM Medical Center. And I worked supporting the cardiac surgery team. So I spent a lot of time in the heart room and watched a lot of blood consumed and used in surgery.
It just made you feel like it was something that you
Well-
wanted to help with?
We can't manufacture blood.
Yeah.
Only our bodies can manufacture blood. And I learned that every unit of blood that I donate could save up to 3 lives,
Yeah.
which is just remarkable.
Yeah.
For me, it's kind of philanthropic. People need it more than I do. And they have free T-shirts.
And hats and pins
And-
and
Sure,
I
the
mean,
whole
guys, like
thing.
you've got all the swag
They've
going
outfitted
on
me
you
for
now.
decades.
Yeah. Well, and then you took it to the next level because
Yes.
you've since become a blood donor ambassador. You also take photos. I don't know if we've been seeing those or not, but there's some photos that we have from blood drives. We're gonna get people excited about becoming one of these folks sitting on a bed, getting their blood drive. And these all came, courtesy of the Red Cross. Some of them are pictures taken by you. When you're at a blood drive and you're working, because you also do, you're kind of like the comfort care ambassador, right? Like, tell us what you do to help people when they're donating
Right.
blood.
So as a blood donor ambassador, I may help check people in at the blood drive. I may be over in the canteen where we ask people to hang for a few minutes after their donation. Very often I'm in the first and last contact for a blood donor at the blood drive.
Do people tell you their stories? Do people
Oh,
have
yeah.
a story to tell you?
Storytelling is an important part of this whole thing. It sets people at ease. It builds relationships. There are many very gratifying aspects to it. Blood donors are a very diverse group, different backgrounds, different experiences, and it's kind of a paying it forward situation.
Yeah. So people come in with a sense of mission and purpose.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I think that, like you said, like you had a reason why, it's funny, Dan and I were talking beforehand and I was asking Dan if he had ever received blood. And then as I was saying it, I realized I had. I mean, I was a 24-hour-old infant and received a complete blood transfusion. So, and it saved my life. So I am sitting here because of blood donations. I mean, that's pretty remarkable. Like you said, this is the only way we get blood.
It's hard to find people who do not know someone, whether it's a family member or a friend or someone in their sphere who has not had a blood transfusion. And that motivates a lot of people.
Have you noticed, do people have any common concerns when they come in?
Sure. In simplest terms, some people are just plain afraid of needles.
That's my
Okay.
husband. He can't do it. He would faint.
Okay, so and I encountered people like that, and I tell them the story about when I was a kid and they were still giving polio shots, and the nurses had to hold me down to give me the shot. I got over
overcome.
it. I got over it.
You got over it.
And it's just a stick.
Nearly 18 gallons of blood later, you've got
Right.
over it. Yeah, yeah.
Some people are concerned about feeling faint or passing out. We encourage people to get really well hydrated before they come in for their donation.
Okay, good
But
to
if a donor does experience some symptoms, and I'm not going to say it doesn't happen because it does happen, but the Red Cross staff are highly trained. They're ready to take that on. lie people down, for instance. The blood works much better in your head than it does in your feet. And we basically stay with them until they're feeling better, and it doesn't usually take that long.
Yeah.
Other people, you know, there are also somewhat stringent eligibility requirements. We
Okay.
make sure we know that you are safe for yourself and to preserve the integrity of the blood supply. So they take your health history, they look at any medications you might be on, any conditions and so on, and it's all very highly regulated.
Something that I thought was pretty fascinating that I did not know. So one, if you are a donor, maybe a regular donor, there's an app that you can get on your phone, and something that your blood, because it is traceable, after a donation, when your blood is then given to someone, you get a notification that tells you, not like who has your blood,
Right.
but that this has happened, like geographically where in the country your blood has just come through for someone in need.
Right. Now, most of the blood we collect stays within New England.
Okay.
The blood donor app, and the Red Cross has done this for quite some time. You used to just get an email that may indicate what hospital. On the blood donor app, which is an excellent piece of little software for your phone. I found it very much more valuable than some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
It shows me on a map where my last
That's
6
amazing.
donations went.
Let's talk a little bit, because we're down to like our last couple minutes. So let's
Okay.
talk a little bit about the logistics, because if people at home are like, that's it, I'm in, I want to do it, I'm going to get engaged. How do you get started? Go to the Red Cross website?
Sure. I mean, if you've never donated blood before, best place to go is redcrossblood.org.
Okay.
You'll type in a zip code into a search bar, and you'll find blood drives that are happening near you in a short period of time. If you have questions, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can ask your questions there, and we'll get you set up and ready to go.
Okay. And if you cannot donate blood for whatever reason, you're just not a part of it, you can still be a hero and get involved as a volunteer, right? So how can you do that?
Absolutely. If you can go to redcrossblood.org. You could call. There's an 800
Yep.
number, 1-800.
We're going to put some
Red
information
Cross.
up on the
Okay.
screen here in a second
And
too about that.
tell them you want to be a volunteer. They will
Okay.
put you in touch with
They
our
will
local.
put you to work. There's always something
There's
for
always
someone to do.
something.
Awesome.
People who can't donate blood, we are always looking for volunteers.
Super. Well, Dan and David, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining me today. To learn more about blood donation and volunteering with the Red Cross website is up there on your screen. Find your local chapter and information about blood drives. Just enter your zip code, and that will get you to your local chapter. Awesome. As always, Vermont, thank you for learning and exploring with me today, and thanks to the team that makes Across the Fence possible. I'm Amy Finley. This is Across the Fence. Come back and let's learn and explore again tomorrow.